Hi, everybody. So, today I am re-uploading my top 20 list of favorite Friends episode, and I'm going to talk about some of my favorite Chandler plot lines and episodes in this list. Some episodes were already in the list, and there were some episodes that I had to add in. So, this is my response to a top 20 list of favorite Friends episodes that MsMojo posted a couple of months ago. Let's begin. So, at number 20, MsMojo picked the one with all the resolutions, which is the New Year's Eve episode where Ross gets stuck in leather pants. My pick for number 20 is the one where Ross got high, the Thanksgiving Day episode where Monica and Ross confess things to their parents, which leads to the parents finding out that Monica and Chandler are living together, which I guess could work as a Chandler plot too, because it's about Monica and Chandler living together. So, number 19. For number 19, MsMojo chose the one with all the football, which I put at number 2. The one with all the football is the Thanksgiving Day episode where they play football in the park while Thanksgiving dinner is cooking. And the thing I like the best about this episode is the fact that it gives a change of scenery, because most of the time the episodes are set within the two apartments or the coffee house. But in this scene, they go to as I said, they go to the park to play football while Thanksgiving dinner cooks. And I really love the football game that they play against each other, because it shows the competitive nature between Ross and Monica as siblings. That's one of my favorite episodes with Ross and Monica as siblings. The second one is the one where they go on a New Year's Eve show, the Dick Clark, and they do the dance routine. That also has one of my favorite Monica quotes in it about not caring about all the material things at Christmas time, but caring about being with the people you love. And that quote resonates with me a lot because I feel the exact same way that she does. And I have always felt that way for the past 5 or 6 years probably. Number 18. MsMojo picked the one with the rumor. This is the Thanksgiving episode that Brad Pitt guest stars in, and I liked the scenes where Phoebe is trying to flirt with Will, who's played by Brad Pitt, but I just didn't. The thing that I hate about this episode is how they talk about the rumor against Rachel so callously. And it obviously hurts Rachel's feelings. I wanted to reach through the TV screen and really punch Ross and Brad Pitt in the face because I didn't like the way they were treating Rachel. So my pick for number 18 is the one in Barbados, which is the one where they all go to Barbados for Ross's conference. And my favorite scene in this episode is the scene where Monica is playing ping pong against Mike, and the blooper to this scene is really funny when Monica misses her shot and she speaks in the language of the gods or something, and then Chandler makes fun of her. So number 17 is the one with the videotape. This is the one where where Ross and Rachel show their friends the videotape of how Emma was conceived, and they are trying to decide who came on to who. And they use the story about backpacking in Western Europe. My pick for number 17 is actually a tie between the one with Ross's inappropriate song and the one with all the cheesecakes. I had a hard time choosing between both of these episodes for number 17 because the one with inappropriate song is the one where Ross sings Baby Got Back to Baby Emma to make her laugh. And this is one of my favorite moments of Ross in the whole series. It's the one of the episodes where I feel Ross is most likable in. Most of the time he comes across as whiny and possessive towards Rachel, which I don't really like. But like in the later seasons after Emma is born, he seems to mature a little bit, but still not very likable. And the one with all the cheesecakes is the one where cheesecake gets delivered to Monica and Rachel's apartment by accident, and Chandler and Rachel are all they partake in eating all the cheesecakes even though they're technically supposed to give them to their downstairs neighbor. And one thing I found really underrated in Friends was the friendship between Chandler and Rachel, and I really liked seeing either scenes or episodes that focused around the two of them. One of my favorite scenes in an episode that focuses around Chandler and Rachel is in the one with the two parties where the birthday parties are over and everybody has left, including Rachel's parents, and Chandler sits down next to Rachel, who is really upset in the hallway about her parents' divorce, and he sits down and has a heart-to-heart with Rachel about having divorced parents. And what I have always wondered about that scene is whether Jennifer Aniston and Matthew Perry pulled from their personal experiences, because Matthew Perry mentions in his book that his parents were divorced, and Jennifer Aniston mentioned in a recent interview, and I think it was People magazine, that her parents were divorced at a young age as well. So that's one thing that I always wondered. For number 16, MsMojo picked the one with the jellyfish. And I originally picked that episode too, but upon reanalysis and reviewing my favorite episodes with Chandler plot lines in them, I ended up choosing the one where Heckles dies as number 16. And the scene that always gets me in this episode is at the very end where Chandler is shutting off the light in Mr. Heckles' apartment after cleaning it out. And he says, "Goodbye, Mr. Heckles, we'll try to keep it down." That is a very emotional Chandler scene that always makes me cry. Number 15, MsMojo picked the one in Vegas, and I chose the New Year's episode, the one with all the resolutions, which I just talked about. Number 14 is the one with Ross's sandwich, and for this one, I chose the one in London. My favorite parts of the one in London are the London scenery, the guest appearance by Sarah Ferguson, aka Fergie, who was part of the royal family at the time of the episode. I think she's still part of the royal family, but I don't really remember if she is. And obviously this is where Chandler and Monica start their relationship because they hook up at the end of the episode. Number 13, MsMojo picked the one with Chandler and Monica's wedding, which I ranked at number 3. Obviously, the episodes of Chandler and Monica's proposal and wedding are my top favorite episodes because obviously, as I have said in previous videos, including my tribute video to Matty Perry, Chandler and Monica were always my favorite couple on Friends. And the proposal scene always gets me crying, and so does the scene in the wedding episode where they say their vows to each other. And I think those episodes will be much, much harder for me to watch now since Matthew Perry has died. I think it's going to take me a while before I can rewatch those particular episodes again. So, number 12, MsMojo picked the one with Unagi, which I just watched about 2 or 3 weeks ago. The one with Unagi is definitely one of my favorite episodes with Ross in it. It's the one where Phoebe and Rachel are taking self-defense classes, and Ross teaches them about Unagi. And the funniest scene in this episode is when Rachel and Phoebe have a surprise attack on Ross, and Rachel says, salmon skin roll. So I ranked the one with Unagi at number 4. And at number 12, I put the one with the Super Bowl Part 2. This is the episode that has Julia Roberts guest star as an old girlfriend of Chandler's from an old classmate of Chandler's from like elementary school or something, and they go out on a date, and then she locks Chandler in the bathroom and steals his underwear. Like, that is funny, but I felt bad for Chandler at the exact same time. And a relatable scene in this episode is the one with Monica's relationship anxiety with asking out Jean-Claude Van Damme on a date. And hot take, no offense, but I don't think Jean-Claude Van Damme is that attractive. And actually, I saw an article online a couple of days ago in my mini feed on Instagram or /Facebook that Jean-Claude Van Damme actually regrets his cameo in Friends. So I'm wondering if, I have not read the article yet, but I'm assuming maybe he didn't like the plot line with Monica and Rachel both having a crush on him or something. I don't know. I still need to read the article. I haven't read it yet. And at that time that episode was filmed, Julia Roberts and Matthew Perry were dating, but they broke up within a year of that. He mentions that in his book. Number 11 is the one, MsMojo put the one with the holiday armadillo at the number 11 spot, and I put that one at number 5. So the one with the holiday armadillo is another one of my favorite moments with Ross, but it also has one of the best Chandler quotes, which I'll say in a minute. So this is the episode where it's very sweet because Ross is trying to impart his Jewish heritage onto his son Ben, who is probably about, I would say he's about 8. I think he was 8. So Chandler comes to the apartment dressed as Santa to surprise Ben. And I guess he got the last Santa costume at the costume rental store because Ross ends up with an armadillo costume. So the Chandler quote I love from this episode is the one where he says, if Santa and the holiday armadillo stay in the same room for too long, the earth is going to implode. Merry Christmas. So, yeah. That episode is really funny, and I can't wait to watch it again when it comes up on Nick at Night. Number 10 on MsMojo's list was the one with the blackout, which is the episode where there's a blackout all over New York City. It's mostly set in the apartment, but Chandler is stuck in the ATM vestibule with Jill Goodacre, and she's and I just think that whole scene with him trying to talk to Jill Goodacre is really a good introduction to his anxiety and his character overall. So the one with the blackout I ranked at number 6. And for my pick, it's a tie between the one where no one's ready and the one with the fertility test. The one where no one's ready is a peak comedic episode for this series because it's where everybody has something going on that is delaying them from getting ready to go to Ross's work function. And it's one of the episodes I can relate to Ross in. One of the only episodes I can relate to Ross in, actually. I can't really say I relate to Ross too much throughout the whole series. But the best quote in this episode is the one where Joey says, "I'm Chandler, could I be wearing any more clothes?" And I almost was going to do that for Halloween, but then I decided it was going to be too many clothes for me to wear. And then I was going to be dressed up as Joey for the one with Monica's Thunder, but I decided that it was not appropriate to do that Halloween costume because of Matthew Perry dying, so I think I'm going to postpone on doing that until next Halloween instead. And the reason why I chose the one with the fertility test is because I think this episode has one of the most powerful Monica and Chandler moments in it when Monica and Chandler find out they cannot have children. And I just remember crying when I first saw that episode, and it is one of the most powerful performances in the whole series that Courtney Cox and Matthew Perry did together. So, number 9, MsMojo ranks the one with the morning after. This is the one where Ross and Rachel have their fight and break up. And, I would have to say it's definitely one of the most powerful episodes and the most sad line is when Rachel says, "I thought that you would never ever hurt me." And that just got me crying on my couch. I just felt so bad for her. And my pick for number 9 was the one with the prom video. This is the one where they are watching the video of Monica and Rachel's prom. And this is the story that, this is what solidifies the beginning of Rachel and Ross getting together, because Ross sees in the video that Rachel sees through watching the video that Ross did a nice thing for her by dressing up to go to the prom with her when her date supposedly stood her up, but then the date shows up at the last minute. And a sweet side plot of this episode is the Chandler and Joey bracelet buddies plot. I thought that Chandler and Joey's friendship in Friends was very sweet. And, I can only imagine how the rest of the Friends actors are dealing with the loss of Matthew Perry. But I can imagine that because of the friendship plotline between Joey and Chandler, that Matt LeBlanc must be taking it the hardest. So my heart really goes out to all of Matthew Perry's co-stars from Friends. I love you guys. And I also send my condolences to his family and friends as well. So number 8 is the last one. The last one is the series finale, and I have this as my pick for number 7, along with the one with the baby on the bus. My pick for number 8 is the one with the proposal, which I've talked about already. So the one with the baby on the bus is where Chandler and Joey are babysitting Ben while Monica takes Ross to the hospital after he gets the allergic reaction from having the kiwi pudding. And the best quote in this episode is when they are trying to figure out so Chandler and Joey use baby Ben to pick up women, and they accidentally leave his car seat on the bus. So they have to go to the Child Protective Services office to pick up Ben, because that's where he gets turned in at, I guess. So there are two different babies, and they're trying to figure out which one is Ben. So Joey and Chandler decide to flip a coin. And Joey says, so ducks will represent heads because ducks have heads. And Chandler retorts with, what kind of scary-ass clowns came to your birthday? And that's my favorite quote in all of Friends, probably, that Chandler says. MsMojo's pick for number 6 was one with the proposal, which I already talked about when I talked about the one with Chandler and Monica's wedding. My pick is the one with the blackout, which I already talked about. MsMojo's pick for number 5 was the one where Ross got high again. I talked about that one. And I talked about my pick already, the one with the Holiday Armadillo. I just talked about the one with the prom video. And the one with Unagi. And I just talked about the one where no one's ready. And one with Monica and Chandler's wedding. So, number 2. It was a tough choice. MsMojo's pick for number 2 was the one where everybody finds out. And I do have to say, the one where everybody finds out is definitely one of my favorites, my favorite episodes of Friends. It's very top ranked for me, A-. This is the episode where the rest of the characters, minus Ross, who doesn't find out until the very, very end when he sees Chandler and Monica through the window of his new apartment, that Monica and Chandler are a couple. And living together. So the best scene in this episode is when Phoebe tries to seduce Chandler to get him to confess that he's together with Monica. And his confession is just so sweet. When he says, I can't kiss you because I'm in love with Monica. And then him and Monica say I love you to each other. It's just so sweet. Again, another favorite Monica and Chandler moment. And I already talked about my pick for the one with the football. And finally, I agree wholeheartedly with MsMojo's pick about the one with the embryos. The one with the embryos involves the trivia game for the apartments between Chandler and Joey and Rachel and Monica. And the cool thing about the trivia game is that you get to learn about the background of our favorite characters through the questions that Ross makes for the trivia game. And can we all agree that Chandler's job should have been explained more in the show, because nobody seemed to know what he did, and that was the question that made Rachel and Monica lose the apartment. For those who don't remember, Chandler's job is statistical analysis and data reconfiguration, which sounds mathematical to me. I don't know. So I'm not exactly sure what that even is, but he had a big fancy office, which Phoebe was his secretary in for one episode. And what I always wondered, which is one thing I wanted to ask Matthew Perry if I were to ever interview him about his book and his experience on Friends, was what exactly he would have studied in college. Him and Ross were college roommates. And obviously that we know that Ross is a paleontologist. So he probably went to college to study paleontology or something related to earth science. But what would Chandler have studied to get the statistical analysis and data reconfiguration job? That's what I always wondered about Friends. And it's a job that he doesn't really like. So the interesting thing is that in later seasons, he goes into advertising and he seems to like that job much better. So yeah, did you agree with MsMojo's picks or did you agree with my picks? Please leave your thoughts in the comments below and let me know what your favorite episodes are that have Chandler as the main focus of the episode in honor of Matthew Perry. Thank you. Have a great day.